All right, you guys ready for our last 2 episodes?
No.
We're going to fuck your shit up so hard that we're forced to play 6 more games.
That would be fitting. You guys ready to dive back in?
Ooh,
Nice.
I like
No.
what you did there.
Nice. It's never going to get old. That joke will live on in eternity. We fly back into this cavern as the battle still raging. Ingrid collapsed on the ground, holding Michael's sword, still etched within it the sentiment that he loved his brother and that his brother was always enough. You see Michael and the 2 gnomes, Ma and Pa, fleeing this area as Wingus and Big Bingus are flying around each other, locked in pitched combat, as the collar, the thick leather strap that is holding it together, is barely hanging on, having taken much damage from one of Wingus's slashes. You see the charm around its neck beginning to blink and fritz kind of crazily, suggesting that it's like about to expire in some way. We go back to the top of the order. It was Cass. Why don't you go ahead? As we jump back in, Cass, you feel fate's gift to you, pushing you forward as you look towards this giant flying winged squirrel with a cat's face flying around the leather strap, barely holding on. It is your turn to act. What do you do?
I think I'm still hanging on to that.
Right. Oh, you are. Yeah,
the
you
collar.
are.
Yeah,
you
so
are fully hanging on. The charm on this collar is like the size of a large shield or like a wheel from like a wagon or something. So you're holding on at like 10 and 2 and are like flying back and forth. Anna, I will remind you, you do not currently have your full dice.
That's
you
right.
Gave
You
it
have
over
it.
to me to be returned
Scandal.
at a date of my choosing.
Probably today, but you never know.
Probably today. Cass, what do you do?
I think I want to blast this charm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your blast attack.
Okay. And we
Charm
did-
Blasters sounds like a cereal.
Charm Blaster! It's sugary sweet and it's good to eat. It's Charm a Blaster.
Charm Blasters. Charm Blasters, Charm Blaster Incorporated.
Oh yeah. So, I got a 4, 2 5s, a 6, and a 9.
Wow.
Jesus.
We did level up, so my wisdom increased. That's why I have
Yes.
so many.
He's so wise.
Yeah.
You blast this thing. We established before this thing had 2 defense. It was on its last bit of health. You blast past that handily with 2 specials, including a 9. Cass, as you raise your hand and make this like fateful blast, what does it look like as it releases from your hand?
I think what I'm doing is like I've got all these scales that I'm seeing in front of me. I think I just like push down real hard on Viper's scale, and basically it's like I'm making Viper just sort of like rip this thing in half, basically.
Hell yeah. Viper, what do you feel as you all of a sudden feel this like push of fate go into you, your hands on this charm ripping this collar off of Bingus?
I think because it's fate, it's not like a choice or an action. It's just like a confluence of winds and like physics that through the like swinging motion on the collar, my hands just like happen to rip it apart in just the perfect way that it tears the collar free. And I start screaming. Because I presume I'm going to fall a little bit, take a little bit of falling damage from this collar.
Yeah, we're definitely going to say that.
So I take it in that it's falling as my hands tear the collar, and then I start screaming.
You tear the collar off, and as you do, one of the ends gets ripped off of you, and you begin falling with this giant collar and shield thing that you're still holding on to. It's all falling around you. As you fall, you cry out. We're going to move to Jayamal. Jayamal, you flying on the back of Wingus, you look into the eyes of Bing Bingus, where you had seen those like friendly and familiar eyes being completely at odds with the rest of its face, which is feral and vicious and attacking you. You see as this collar gets pulled off, the charm that was blinking red all of a sudden extinguishes, and Big Bingus's face softens to match his eyes.
Oh.
As you hear Viper begin to fall and cry out, you see Bingus's face quiet in front of you. What do you do?
I'm still like flying on top of Big Wingus, right?
Yeah. You are, from last time, you got hit with that, both you and Cass got hit with his fire breath, his like sap breath. So you are like frozen in place. However, you can still kind of control Wingus.
That's so whack. Okay. Okay. Jayamal is gonna call out to Bingus and say, "Bingus, catch my friend!"
You see Big Bingus look at you, eyes go wide. It kind of, its head moves around, and all of a sudden you see Viper. You look up as you're falling backwards, and you see the cat that you had known and loved, its face looking down at you, and the Big Bingus body that had chased you throughout some of your earlier adventures, much bigger now than it was, flies down and dips underneath you. I'm going to roll a check for Big Bingus. I'd be very surprised if he fails this, but let's see.
Those are really good words to say right before a roll, Brian.
I know, right? Yeah, 6, 6, and 5. Big Bingus flies underneath you, stopping, kind of grabbing you as you gently settle into Big Bingus's fur. This very kind of like well-maintained, surprisingly, fur, and you kind of roll off gently as Big Bingus flies into the ground and lands softly.
Whoa!
Jayamal, as Big Bingus flies to the ground and lands in this very graceful movement, you begin to take Wingus down for a landing.
Oh no.
And as you do, you see error messages coming up on your heads-up display. Beep, 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 beep.
Landing gear.
Oh no. We thought you'd forgotten, Brian.
Never forget.
Everyone brace!
Jayamal, go ahead and roll me a dexterity check.
Uh-oh.
I think I still have a prophecy left from.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take an advantage on that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
So I roll.
This is more for fun than for consequences.
A 6, 4, 4, 3, and a 1.
Yeah, Wingus begins to fly down in a scarily steep trajectory towards the ground. You begin getting like heads-up display notifications. Beep, beep, pull up, terrain. What do you do to like hack this system and fix it so that you don't fully crash straight down?
I think Jayamal somehow knows programming languages all of a sudden and starts to like looks like he's like typing in air and like buttons are like clicking and whatnot. And it's just like he goes, erase error, enter. And then like there's like a manual control that comes up, and he manually kind of like finagles this energy thing and lands the big Wingus.
I think, yeah, it's like as you're typing, buttons are appearing beneath your fingers in this very cool, like, cybertronic way. You get a manual override, and you begin to do it, and from, like, an X-ray vision, we see you at the controls and Bingus inside the mech at the controls, operating in perfect unison as you slowly bring this thing down to a still not very graceful landing, but at least not a catastrophic landing. You guys land. Big Bingus comes over to you and Cass and licks the sap off of you with its giant tongue, just
Oh.
It's like eating your own vomit.
Cats do that all the time, man.
And like the first couple tongue licks, like just get stuff off of you. By like the third or fourth, like you're being lifted into the air with each lick because of how large this tongue is. But Big Bingus looks at you, Jayamal, incredibly like apologetic. Its eyes just so soft and sorry.
It's okay, my love.
Little Bingus comes out and like jumps on your shoulder and kind of like hisses at Big Bingus, and Big Bingus hisses back but way louder. And Bingus on your shoulder is not cowed by this. It's just like, yeah, what? Fuck you, man. Little Bingus starts like scurrying around Big Bingus, and the two kind of start playing.
Adorable.
Viper. As you kind of landed on Big Bingus, you kind of roll off, and you see the giant collar and the charm that you were holding onto has shrunk down to a much more manageable size. Like now it's getting close to the size of like a normal cat collar, and it's still shrinking kind of slowly. You see on the charm there is an inscription on both sides.
I read it. I want to read it.
On the front side, you see what is like a nameplate, and you see in very curly Q letters the name Samantha.
No! Not here!
Not here.
And you turn the charm over, looking to see, like at this point, like it's very clear, like, oh, the other side is going to be like an address or something. And as you turn it over, you see parts of an address, but it's like there are parts of the inscription that are like made, and then parts of them that seem to be like made in pencil and have been like scritched out. So you're seeing like a weird combination of something that has actually been etched in and something that is like not fully finished. So you see Upper Halcyon City as like the city name. You see an address that's been like kind of scratched out and redone a couple of times, like a bunch of different like pun names that haven't been decided on. And then at the top of it, you see your ex-girlfriend's name, Leslie, but it's been like, there's like a bunch of notes around it trying to make it into like a more fantasy name. So it's like Leslie, you know, reverse it, like making it Lilas, Leslie or something. And finally it's crossed out and it just says the Nimbus Witch. But it's still like, it hasn't been fully, like this is clearly like something that's a work in progress. As you look at this, you see something rendered not in as good a detail as this world. It seems strange. And it's about then that from behind you, coming out of the cavern, you hear some footsteps walking forward. Yeah, sorry guys, I hadn't, you guys worked way faster than I thought, so I haven't quite gotten there yet. And you guys turn around and see Dani resplendent in his blue long coat with the silver buttons. You see the buttons seem to be like those tokens that appeared in front of him. 2 of them have been like extinguished. So there's like 3 buttons on his coat. The kind of like crazy coiffed hair. And he's walking forward, big smile on his face, goes, I mean, listen, we're going to keep going here. I got a lot more great plans, but let me just say, I mean, come on. Ingrid, come on. That was wild, man. Like, I thought this was going to be cool. Like, I thought, you know, the troll thing was a little weird. It was a little on the nose. I think you guys could have done a more fantasy-esque thing, but like, but this, I mean, you rent a guy into legend. Like, that's, whew, I never would have gotten there on my own. So, like, fuck it, no notes on that.
I like the troll part.
I think Ingrid is just kind of like staring speechless. Like, he doesn't know what to say to any of
I think
this.
also Kelly like watched and clocked what happened, and can see that Ingrid is like experiencing every emotion all at once and like upset. And so Kelly's gonna come forward and try to slap Dani in the face.
Go ahead and roll a attack.
All right, I will, Brian. It's my dex.
Yeah, you can roll your dex.
Okay.
Since you're a finesse fighter.
Oh no, that's
A finessey slap.
it's a 6, but also 2 1s.
6 but 2 1s. His defense is 0. So you,
Yeah.
you walk forward do you have like, are you looking angry or do you have like a smile on as you're doing this?
No, I think Kelly looks mad.
You walk forward, he's kind of looking at you, goes, Kelly, I think you did so good. And then whap. Whoa. Okay. Ow. Oh man, it does hurt in here. Wow, I wasn't. And he's got like a little bit of blood on the corner of his lip.
Didn't it was fine.
Shit.
Like, we wanted to help you with your book and everything, and we wanted to, like, we were down to clown and play the game, but you've gone too far, man.
Yeah, I want to run over when he says it does hurt in here. I'd like also to come over and look very intimidating behind Kelly and be like, yeah, it does hurt in here, emotionally and physically. It also feels pretty good too if you meet an elf.
He's kind of like, you see the full handprint on the side of his face. And he looks at Viper and goes, yeah, it hurts. It feels good. It feels way better than are you kidding me? Like, you saw that elf. I mean, come on.
The elf was hot, but you're using an animal. If you're hurting us, that means that Bingus is also getting hurt in this world, and that's not okay.
Bingus is fine.
Just a
Look
little
at him.
animal.
Bingus and Jayamal are like cuddled up, sleeping together right now.
Jayamal's not fully napping.
You see, Big Bingus is on his back and is like has all of his feet in the air, and Little Bingus is jumping between the feet, and they're like bouncing up and down. He goes, Dani looks at him and goes, come on. They're fine. I knew you guys weren't gonna hurt Big Bingus. Are you kidding me? It was, alternate wind conditions.
What about Enoch?
Enoch is fine.
Does he look fine to you?
Look at him. Enoch, come on. Tell me. How did it feel?
Awful.
How did it feel to use that voice?
Terrifying.
But powerful and big, right?
Yes, but still terrifying. Why did you
Anything new is terrifying. You'll get used to it, trust me.
I don't think I want to get used to that.
Well, I mean, I guess we like multi-class you or something. I don't know, we can try something else, but I thought you would love this. I mean, listen, you and I both know, like, people kind of walk over you sometimes. I gave you a voice. I gave you a full fucking voice that people can't ignore.
Yeah, but if this feels so much worse, and honestly, if this is what it's like to have a voice, I'd rather not. This honestly feels like I'm treating others how I was treated. Taking away their voice.
No, I think you gotta control. Maybe you went a little too far the first. That's gonna happen. It's gonna be fits and starts. That's fine. So you turned one guy into a cautionary tale and has banished him to legend for all of time.
It's not just one guy, Dani. It's his brother.
Yeah, why did you pick that faith?
I mean, I wanted to get some investment in this, If it's just a random person, you're not gonna care, but I mean, come on, how epic is it? Brother versus brother. I mean, come on. That's the stuff that fantasy's made of right there.
Enoch just shakes his head and I think walks away.
You're a parasite, man. You're leeching on our emotions. You're putting us into these emotionally manipulative situations because you know it's gonna get a reaction from us. It's not a cool thing to do to your friends, man.
Come on, it's not manipulative. I'm giving you the tools that you never took for yourself. Are you kidding me? Look. And from beside him, he waves his hand and like a mist appears and a full mirror appears in front of him. And you see a reflection of yourself split down the middle from like who you are as Viper and who you were as Anna. And he just holds up and goes, I know you. I've known you for so long. This is what you've always wanted. I mean, even on like a macro level, I've been watching. Everyone, be honest. Has Anna been more or less angry while she's been here? Be honest.
Are we including right now?
Not including right now. I guess that's fair. So macro overall.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Less.
You have an outlet. You have all of the tools, and I mean all of the tools, to do whatever you want.
You just said you're not being manipulative. A moment after you made Enoch torture his brother to insanity, and then you show me halvesies of myself now and in reality, that's manipulative, man.
It's a before and after picture. I mean, come on. Okay, come on, fine. And he kind of like spins around looking to everyone else. He sees Jayamal off in the corner sleeping with Big Bingus, and he kind of was just like, okay, fine. Looks at Cass, goes, Cass, come on. You have had bad luck for longer than any of us can remember. I mean, truly, like, phenomenally bad luck. Like, catastrophically.
I know.
And now, you are literally the master of fate.
No, I mean, I've been having a pretty good time.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here's someone who understands the assignment.
But I mean, it's still a game. Like, it's fun. Like, I like to game. I like the escapism. This is like definitely the most immersive experience that I've had. But you haven't really you haven't fucked with me the way you fucked with Enoch.
I'm trying to give you guys the tools so you can be everything you wanted to be, everything you've dreamed of being. I mean, these aren't called characters, they're called paragons for a reason. You're the paragon of yourself. I mean, I made these for you, purposefully, very purposefully. I want to give you guys everything you wanted so that we can make the best fucking stories together.
Or did you do it to make us feel bad about our normal lives? We don't have these powers when we go back. And sure, some of us are going to go back and be famous NBA players who are like 6'7". And some of us are going to go back to being a lonely cab driver.
As you say, some of us are going to go back, you all of a sudden see the whole world kind of glitches like a video game, like one frame out of sync. It does that like a few times. You guys kind of all look around and see Big Bingus is kind of frozen and is glitching in that way that like NPCs do, where he's like half in the floor, half out of the floor.
Oh, he's clipping.
He's clipping? Yeah, exactly.
He's freaking clipping, man.
All of a sudden, you see Dani, and he looks at you and goes, shit, not again. And as it happens, the entire world inverts. You guys still in your orientation, and where you were at the floor, you are now at the ceiling. Or rather, you're still near the floor, but the floor is now the ceiling, and you begin to fall straight down. What do you guys do?
Bingus, catch all of us.
Oh yeah, where's Wingus?
I think Wingus is being affected by this. Wingus is also clipping.
Oh no.
Oh, right.
Is there a way
do that thing that like skydivers do where we like form a circle we're all holding hands?
You guys start to form a circle, kind of reaching, and this is a tall, big ass guy. Like Big Bingus had been able to fly around it here.
Brian, could you describe this area as either a blockage, a village, a mob, or a strength?
Are you gonna fight Fallen?
Honestly, I was thinking about using
Could
my
I
voice on gravity at some point, so
fight
I'm
gravity?
not far behind.
Kelly, I'll let you, if you want to try to in some way use your trust creative violence, you can, because I believe you're at level 2 right now.
I would argue that gravity is a strength.
Wow. Okay. Is gravity a strength or is it a fundamental force? I'll let you try it.
How are they
Gravity's not
different,
really
Brian?
Aren't there
force.
weak forces and strong forces?
And
That's
right?
between
Gravity
atoms
is
and within atoms.
strong force.
I will absolutely let you try
strength
this. I will absolutely let you try this.
Guys, we actually just found the unifying theory.
Wow.
Guys,
Anime had it right.
Trust.
The
It was
unifying
trust
theory
all along.
is trust. Actually believe in your
Fuck
friend.
friendship. It's trust, guys.
trust.
What do you want to do? You tell me. You tell me.
All right, so this is attempting to use my creative violence. Oh God. Okay.
You're at, what level does creative violence work for you? Because I know there's meant to be like a limit, right? Depending on what level you
If
are.
my emotional
kicks in at 2.
scale, yeah, and my emotional scale's at 2 right now.
If it bumped it up, would that do anything?
I don't know that it makes a difference if it's any higher.
Okay.
Yeah, it
right?
does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, the higher you go, the more things you can kind of defeat. So if you're at like 2,
that's
it's kind of
right.
equivalent to like defeating a mob.
Well,
or
here we
something.
go. If it goes up to 3, I can defeat a mountain range. That's gotta be applicable here.
We are falling into a stone floor. That sounds like a mountain range.
Sounds like a mountain range
Yeah.
to me, Brian.
I would like to do something then.
What do you want to do?
As we're falling, I think I see Kelly with an eye. You know, you have to make sure he's with an eye. Preparing to strike, I guess. Are they like pulling their axes out as they're falling? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, I think that she's like pulling her axe out, and the original thought would be like to try to like latch onto like the wall, and then maybe also try to like grab a friend or something. But like, yeah, she's trying to figure it out as she's falling.
Yeah.
As you're falling, you split apart the axe, and you hear your mom and your dad go, "Well, honey, this is a sticky wicket, but I believe in you. Honey, you have always gotten yourself out of these kind of situations, and I just know you're going to do it now."
And added on top of that, it's going to be very unsettling because again, you see from the neck up, there's like a like hellfire flames burn up and melt away his face. You kind of see them like leaving behind him as he's falling, kind of like weird droplets of flesh, very weird, and revealing the skull with the
So
emerald
cool.
green eyes, and again in a deep demonic like bass voice just says, "Kelly, you've got this." And I'm going to use my voice and my new emotion, which is admiration and trust, to bump up their admiration and trust. I'm going to aim for level 3. Hopefully I don't kill Kelly.
Oh my god.
Kelly just enters into another plane of existence, becomes a god.
Go ahead and roll your d4. That'll set the bar, and then go ahead and roll your charisma pool.
Okay, so 2, and there's 3 successes. And I'm able to lower or increase the intensity by what that is. So I'm going to...
And you can lower, increase like each one, so you could essentially like go up, go
Yeah.
down. So you can regulate it if you
So I'm
want.
going to bump it up to a 3, bump it up again to a 4, then bump it down again to a 3. So just 3. So you're bumped up to level 3 in that emotion spoke. But I give you my D4 as well, which means I can't use my voice until I get
yes.
it, until this effect wears off.
Oh.
Interesting. It is fun looking through the emotional scale of what I can defeat in different levels.
Defeat?
It's fascinating the way things are grouped. Like level 4 is I could defeat a city, just the emotion of despair, or my true love.
Oh my God.
Fascinating combination of options.
And since you live in New York, you know your true love is the city.
The city. But of
Yeah.
course, 3, I can defeat a mountain range. And I feel like it's a better argument than gravity being a strong force.
Kelly, you hear Drax's voice ring out in your ear, and you see this like horrifying visage of this like lich-like skull with green flames and eyes. And I think everyone here, as you see that kind of like green flame around this skull, has that unfamiliar but yet inevitable tickle down their spine that seems like it's always been there but has only been there for a few moments. You feel the urge and need to run from this. The legend born with Michael. But Kelly, you don't necessarily see that in this moment. You hear the voice ring out in your head, and you feel that level of trust rise and surge to a level that Kelly with a Y has for sure never experienced. What do you feel, and what do you do as you feel this energy surge into you and into these 2 ice axes in your hands?
I think that the effect that it has on Kelly is that she it's like her entire mind goes blank except for this like overwhelming feeling of trust and being like, oh, I know him. And if he says I can do it, then of course I can do it. And it's like that's literally the only thing going on in her head. She's like even lost a sense of the fact that they're like falling. And then I have a question. Am I capable in this moment of like turning the world back upside right or no?
You can defeat a mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
I will certainly let you invert a mountain range.
Okay, then I think
Nice.
the way Kelly's going to attempt to invert a mountain range is, she takes her ice axe, she's split into two, Ma and Pa. And I want it to very much be like a Sailor Moon anime where they're like in wind and it's like all blowing around and like gorgeous.
Sure.
And like her dress is all flowy and beautiful and she's doing like these gorgeous acrobatics in the air and like unnecessary spinning of like the ice and everything where everyone's like, girl, we are in trouble. You need to fix it. And she's gonna do a thing where it sort of defies the laws of like physics in the area of like latching one ice axe onto each side of the wall, and as she like falls, flipping like from one side to the other side of like around the axis that is like her arms lashed into the walls, the whole range goes with her.
You guys see Kelly, and this is like a 10-second fall. Kelly spends the first like 7 seconds just doing flourishes.
She's like, I'm pretty, I like the wind, I trust everything.
You see this beautiful diaphanous gown that is like flying around. It's getting like, it seems to have picked up some of Ingrid's green flame and it's like tinging it around the hem of this dress as Kelly is just flying around, this green flame kind of flicking around. You grab onto the sides of the wall with these ice axes. You hear Bob and Suzanne in your head going, honey, I knew it. You could do it. Honey, you fucking got this. And you guys...
You also hear Ma then going, honey, language.
Honey, come on. United front. We have to present a united front. You guys see the world begin to go topsy-turvy in the wildest way. You begin to fall as the room kind of rotates around. You begin to fall towards the ground, then towards the wall, then towards the side of the wall. And like, keep in mind, if you're falling like that momentum is still going to carry. Like if you just inverted this, you'd still hit something. But as you spin this around, you begin to like slowly fall onto the wall. So you're able to transfer some of that energy. So you begin to run down the wall, and then slowly you find yourself running at a less and less steep angle as you guys are trying to keep your balance. And then all of a sudden, the entire mountain ridge, formerly glitched upside down, is back right side up, and you find yourselves skidding to a halt along the floor, now level on the ground.
Midnight Muscadines is a cozy, dark tabletop role-playing game where light and shadow intertwine in a fractured world. Players take on the roles of marmoteers, brave adventurers who journey into the untamed wildernite to collect the elusive Midnight Muscadines, craft magical jams, and protect the fragile light of Nim. Through collaborative storytelling and resourceful gameplay, players weave tales of courage, community, and the pursuit of balance. Will you preserve the light, uncover the truths hidden in the shadows, or reshape the balance of the world forever? Midnight Muscadines is perfect for fans of Studio Ghibli and Sea of Stars who seek to capture the magic of exploration and the heartfelt adventure in a world where small heroes make a big impact. Play Midnight Muscadines as a traditional GM'd game, GM-less, or even solo. Midnight Muscadines is crowdfunding now on BackerKit. Join the campaign at pandiongames.com/muscadines.
I'm Quinns of tabletop role-playing game review show Quinn's Quest, and this is Play to Find Out. Play to Find Out is an actual play podcast that brings notorious old games from the 80s and 90s back to the table. Each season of Play to Find Out, I'm joined by Emily Johnson and Rob Morgan.
Good? Nervous?
Yeah.
You both looked at each other really concerned, like you think what's about to happen is going to be unpleasant. And frankly, I think that's rude. And together, we explore the TTRPGs of ages gone by. Our goal, to separate the TTRPGs that deserve to be remembered from those that maybe don't. I don't know, Emily. It was the 80s.
Also,
a lot of people were on cocaine. We blow the dust from decrepit systems to learn how they work. Your 100 on the encounter table bursts out. Right, you've encountered a fog. Get ready. Don't laugh.
There's one get ready for a fog.
Don't laugh. Encounter their unique quirks.
I do finger guns to cover up how I wince.
A weird thing happens as you do finger guns.
Oh no.
And I'm hoping that the Quinn's Quest community will join us in exploring these games too. If you this up, cannot describe to you how much your adventure ends here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the best way to learn is to play to find out. Play to Find Out is available now on the Quinn's Quest Patreon, but the first episode of each series streams for free on the Quinn's Quest YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, you failed the Earth roll, and you made jokes while I was doing my exposition, so you don't get to hear any more.
Oh, no. Come on.
I was shook as...
I land in like a cool, like one knee up, like crouched kind of like ninja pose. And it just looks really cool.
I think that's the side effect of this is everyone lands in like a very cool superhero pose.
We all like have finger guns like on either side of Kelly. Like, Charlie's Angels style.
Kelly's Angels situation, yeah.
Jayamal is still sleeping, but Little Bingus was carrying him through that entire thing.
I like to think Jayamal actually never moved because you were like up snuggled with Big Bingus. You were just stuck, so you would have just been pinned to the ceiling. But you guys, as you land all of you in like, superhero 3-point poses, finger guns, bam. All of a sudden you look in front of you where you're landing as you're doing this just kind of instinctively. There's a massive mirror in front of you with like a cool edging around it. And you actually hear music play in the room. It's like, ba-da-ba-ba-da-bow. And you guys see just how
great acoustics.
Amazing acoustics. It's just fully 360.
Yeah.
Bouncing off the walls. You guys see just how cool you fucking look. And Kelly is still like, the hem of her dress is flickering a little bit with this green flame. Ma and Pa echoing your ears how proud they are. And you see Dani pop out from behind this mirror and goes, okay, literally, need I say more? Kelly just inverted a mountain with trust, the power of trust, okay? Have you guys ever seen this woman this loose?
She's definitely still got lingering effects of the voice of it's like she's in a perpetual like gorgeous supermodel wind tunnel right now. She's full like earth goddess going on.
In contrast, I think as long as this effect is still lasting, Ingrid still has the skull. He's still the skull with like emerald green, literal green emeralds for eyes. So it just looks terrifying in comparison. And looks at itself in the mirror.
I do a double take. I'm like, wow, Ingrid, that was pretty. Whoa!
I don't know. I really think he's pulling it off. Those gem eyes, beautiful.
I don't know. I prefer having skin.
Jayamal finally wakes up, goes, Dani's here! And he goes over to slap Dani.
Go ahead and roll a dexterity check. Or, you roll strength. You roll strength.
Love that.
A 6 and a 5.
I've never wanted to fail more. You walk up to Dani in your like kind of old man tottering walk, and Dani goes, "Hey, Jai, okay, listen, we're gonna fix the whole like old man thing." Because you're also shorter, you kind of like nick a lot more chin than you intended to, but you see now a whole extra handpin on his face. Okay. Ow. Are we done? Does anyone else need the slap?
I think it's Viper's turn.
I wouldn't slap you with an open hand. I don't think you want this heat.
See, do you say things that cool in the okay, listen, all I'm saying is this is better. This is like definitively better. Ingrid, I get it. Maybe we did not quite the wrong. We can iterate. We can make it better. You know, I feel like Kelly, I think I've got your vote, maybe.
Is the effect still is the voice effect like still happening to her?
Yeah, until Ingrid
until I
either makes
it.
a new command or drops the voice.
I think looking from Dani, and then I look at myself in the mirror, I probably I take back the voice as you see the flames kind of leave from your dress and scale up my body and then around my neck and kind of refills the flesh.
So Kelly, you feel that almost superhuman level of trust kind of extinguished, but not. You're still at level 2. You're still feeling a lot of trust for your friends, but not
I don't
that.
lose at all. I just lose 1 level.
Yeah, you just go back down to what you were.
That's fascinating.
I believe.
Oh, so then yeah, she's still okay. I was fully ready for her to have like
Oh, you know what?
an emotional crash.
You know what? Sorry, you do expend all of your emotion if you use creative violence. So as the voice gets pulled back into Ingrid's throat, you feel a full-on crash of trust going from truly like more trusting you've ever been, more loose and free than you've ever been, back to you go from the most Kelly with an I you've ever been to the most Kelly with a Y you've ever been.
I think that she's like basically I'm not even really listening to Dani. I'm like looking at everyone, trying to assess how everybody else is doing, but also it's like in between, like I look over at Viper and then I look back at Ingrid and then I look over at Jayamal and then I look back at Ingrid and I keep being like, is his face? What happened to his face again? So she's like checking in with everybody, but also just keeps looking over to be like, is his face normal? Is it back? What happened?
While you're doing that, Dani's just literally holding out a hand, like gesturing towards you, like, Kelly, I've got your vote, right? And there's just like 15 seconds of silence as you're just looking
You
around.
can see her just sort of muttering to herself, like, okay, he's looking okay. It's just like, all right, there's his eyes.
Okay,
There's a little
you know what?
sparkle to them, but they're not
Let me come back
gems.
to this one.
Okay, all right.
You just had a big moment. I think you're still collecting yourself. Jayamal. Okay, I know, you know, the old man thing, you know, we'll fix that eventually. You know, Brett's kind of like a long quest. You know what I mean? That's like a recurring
Brett?
villain, okay?
What? Where's Brett?
He's not. You were going to encounter him later on. He was going to be kind of like your foil for the, you know, the whole campaign. But like, you know, you think about it. I mean, like, these people have been leeching off you forever. You can like finally fucking, you know, give it to them.
You don't know me.
Listen, we've fallen out of touch. I don't know who you are now. That's totally fair. But I know who you were in high school. I know people put a lot of expectations on who you were supposed to be and who you ought to be. And I think you followed a lot of them. I mean, it went well, but I don't know if it was ever really what you wanted.
What are you, my dad?
All I'm saying is, look at yourself in this mirror, and you see no one is expecting anything from you. You can do whatever you want, for good or for ill. Clean slate, man.
Oh. Well, do you all expect nothing from me?
No.
I'm valuable, right? I contribute.
I'm saying you don't have any expectations put upon you. You can choose your own value. You can make your own worth.
Even as an old man?
Especially as an old man. I mean, you know, you could regain some of that youth throughout the campaign and kind of like pull back that stuff. I like the whole bit with, you know, the less fair gold you have, the kind of crazier you go. That's kind of fun. You know, we can really play with that.
I'm just speaking the truth. I don't know what you mean crazy.
Jayamal, I don't think you should don't say that, Jayamal.
What do you mean?
I'd never at least play with the fair gold. At least playing the fair gold.
Even Dani comes and goes, listen, like, I know you gotta, with your thoughts on trolls, not gonna serve you well here. Like, you gotta Ooh, you gotta. That's inside thought. Inside thought.
Inside thought. When you said no one expects, you guys don't expect nothing from me or something, whatever you just said, I think that really hits Anna, and she realized that she's like stopped expecting things from her people and her friends. And then maybe there's some like shift in Anna, not in Viper, but in Anna, that's like, oh, maybe you can expect something from some people and they will show up. Like these people, her friends here have had her back the whole time, and especially Jayamal and Bingus. And so maybe she should expect something from them. And she says something cool that sums all that up.
Wow, that was really cool what you said.
Yeah, you really summed it up.
That was
Viper, that was so cool.
that was beautiful.
You really
done.
summed it up.
Thanks.
Viper, have you thought of like being a writer? Because that was really succinct but poignant at the same time. Like, you know, we could work on this like next book together. It'd be great.
Don't try and get in my good graces, Dani.
All right, listen. Okay, I just wanted to make you guys the best you could be. You know, I thought this would be fun. I thought it'd be transformative, quite frankly. I mean, this is what we did when we were kids. We made each other better. We, you know, did it in the game. And as he says that, the world kind of glitches again as various like bits of rock kind of appear and disappear and appear and disappear, and like a large crack appears along the floor, kind of separating you guys from Dani. Not like a big cavern, but just like the start of some kind of splintering of this world. Okay, listen. I want to keep playing. I think if you guys just like follow me with this, I think as much fun as we've had, and you've got to admit, there's been some fun stuff here. I mean, I thought the troll thing was a little weird, but like you guys had fun with it. So like, you could go to the Troll Council. Like, think of all the cool stuff we could do. I know I'm getting you with the Troll Council. I know you want. That's a good temptation.
Kelly's like brain is half broken because of her like huge swing and emotional things. And when you say like the Troll Council, she's like, oh, I did really want to go to the Troll Council. That is true. She's like kind of forgotten what we were arguing about.
Listen, it's a weird side quest, but I'm down. If that's what you guys want, we can do, you know, a little for me, a little for you. Side quest from the main campaign. But we can't do that if the world breaks down. So we just got to do a quick thing, and then we can kind of like figure everything out from here. Okay?
What is going on with that?
Okay, so the world is a little unstable. I've been kind of trying to figure it out, put it together, but it seems like we're of kind of split minds here, thinking of this as a game rather than as a world. And I think this is the kind of game that needs like full buy-in, you know what I mean? So listen, all we got to do is just come together, and he kind of like moves forward towards you guys stepping over this crack and holds out his hands, goes, everyone, we just got to join hands, and we'll all together on the count of 3 say, the game continues, and that will fix everything. Then we'll be good to go.
What happens if we don't do that?
I mean, if we don't do that, I mean, then the world kind of will explode. I mean, we could leave the game. We could say the game ends, but I don't think you guys want to leave yet. I mean, come on, there's so much to do. Like fucking Kelly, I got some cool stuff planned for you. I haven't really like fully figured it out yet, but it's gonna be good. Viper, we're gonna like go see your, you know, the witch X and type thing, and you can kind of like confront that and see what that means. And you know, I've got some more dragons. We still got to kill Brett. Like, there's so much stuff. And
what? No.
He's a vampire here.
No, yeah, Jayamal, he sucks here. Like, more than he sucks in the real world.
Yeah, he
you
sucks
guys,
blood.
You guys like him in the real world, though, right?
No. He's a huge douche.
Yeah, he's not the best.
I don't know how you don't see
kind
that.
of bullied us in school.
Jayamal gets really quiet and just stops talking.
Maybe we just don't know him like you know him, and people can change and should change a lot since high school, but he seems like he sucks still.
Yeah, the way he presents is very much of a person who kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like excited to see what he does with the Beanstalk and like the music selection and like, you know, maybe that'll turn out to be really cool. But high school Brett kind of sucked.
Listen, and Jayamal, if you want Vampire Brett, to have a redemption arc, like maybe we can work that into the game, okay? But if we don't stay, then we have to leave and the world, explodes or crumbles or dematerializes. So here's what we got to do. We just all come together, all hold hands, say the game continues. It'll be fixed forever. We'll never have to go back. The adventure will never end, and we can just stay and keep playing the game.
Hold on a second.
Wait, never end?
Yeah, it'll never have to end. We don't have to go back. We can just stay here where everything is great. So
Well, but what happens to us, like, in the basement of the Beanstalk?
Nothing. You're not there anymore. You're here.
But what, so when my parents go into the basement, where am I?
You're here.
And where are they?
In the basement.
And what do they think about that?
I don't know. They probably feel some kind of way, but way.
Enoch has kids, right?
Listen, I left a note explaining that everyone is.
You left a note?
Everyone is gonna be better. I left a note. I thought that was only fair. Letting everyone know that we're in a good place. We're all happy.
We're in a good. You made
listen,
it sound like I went to a murder cult. We're in a good place. I want to walk up to him. I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah! Go ahead. Go ahead and roll attack.
I was gonna try to make a deal with Dani to be like, we could stay if you stop doing weird shit with our most emotional connections in life, but this is taking a turn.
Yeah, that is 2 6s and a 5.
Yeah, you especially with 2 specials, you absolutely lay into him. With a closed fist punch, you come up to him. Flashes of your lich self kind of appear for a moment, even though you're not even using the voice, and you directly into his face. He topples down, passing over this crack back onto the other side of this crack, separating him between you. He kind of gets up from the ground, and now you see large welts on the side of his face, lots of blood running down his lip. He goes, "Okay, everyone got that off their chest? It's gonna be fun. We can do whatever you want."
I want to go home.
No, you don't. We can do anything here.
Dani, we've all changed since high school, but you've changed the most. You used to be our friend. You used to care about us. And now all you care about is whatever sick story you want to tell. And it's not cool.
You
and
think
we
I've changed? You think I've changed? I haven't changed at all.
That's fucked up too. You should change from the time you were 16. You're an adult, man.
Why would I want to change? I found the best thing in my entire life in that fucking basement. The best times of my life were in that basement. Why would I want something else? I've tried. I've tried to find other better things. I got married. I wrote a book. I did the celebrity thing. All of them pale in comparison to the kinds of adventures we went on. Just friends fucking around in a dingy old basement. Those are the days I want. Why would I change when you found the perfect thing? I don't order the new thing from the restaurant. I order the best thing from the restaurant. Every time. It doesn't matter that I order the same thing. It's the best thing.
As good as those times were, I think there's a lot you're forgetting. A lot of us were bullied, and Enoch would go days without sleeping, and it wasn't, and maybe it kind of looks like he's still doing that now. and Cass was still so unlucky. Those weren't all good times for all of us. And maybe, yes, some of us aren't happy adults. I don't have a follow-up for that.
And you don't need one. We can be happy adults, kids, and we can fucking shape a world together. I mean, and he makes out of mist appear a giant 20-sided die, but you see on it, the one has it's like a map of the Vermilion Expanse and Flitter Lake Village and even this mountain range, and he spins the die, and you see this world encompassed in this isodecahedron. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, isodecahedron.
You nerd. It's a keyword.
And you see 19 other entirely different new things that some of them have been completed and are rich, and some of them are still pencil and pen etchings that are still being finished. He goes, We could make this anything. Anything you want. Why would you want to go back to something that picks for you? We could pick for ourselves. Anything.
Dani.
Dani.
Piece of shit.
What?
Dani, when we played together as kids, we all agreed that we were playing a game. Like, you lied to us. You didn't tell us what we were getting into when we came here. If you had told me the truth, like everything from the start, maybe I'd want to stay here with you. Like, I don't have much to go back to. I mean, listen, Kelly, your parents are lovely. They've given me a job, but I get to talk to the embodiment of fate here. And it listens to me.
That is pretty cool.
But I'm not gonna trap all my friends in a game that they don't want to stay in just because I'm having a good time. But like I don't want to trap you. You didn't think this through, man. You weren't honest with us.
Listen, okay, that's, it's a fair complaint. I brought you here under slightly iffy circumstances, but I figured once you saw it, that'd be way better than I couldn't explain this to you, but
you could have tried.
Dani, would you be willing to compromise?
What's a compromise?
Because being in here with everybody and getting back together, I've realized there are some things that are maybe missing from my life in the real world that I didn't know I missed. And this has been interesting and cool, and I think it's fun to be able to create a world, and it's nice to have some of my anxiety be gone and doing all that. But I want both. Like, we could come back. We could all get together again. We don't have to go another 20 years between seeing each other and playing a game. We can come back here. But we also need to be able to leave and go home. Because that's where we actually exist.
And again, Enoch has kids.
That too. That's like, and the note, I really wish you had showed me this note.
That's not
because
gonna
it sounds
play well.
Because that really does sound like I just did like a mess, like
Well,
code.
we did like a group.
Listen, give me a little bit of
situation,
credit.
like a drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am a best-selling author. I put some pizzazz on it. Like I went through a couple of rounds.
Right, that is actually more concerning to me.
Yeah.
The pizzazz.
Again,
I'm gonna
it's
slap
just-
him. Viper slap.
Am I the only one who hasn't slapped him?
Yeah.
Let's do it together.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
One on each
We'll each take a hand. We look at each other and then walk up to him and reach over the gap in the rock and just slap him on either side.
Both you go ahead and roll an attack.
Okay.
I just love the visual of slapping someone on both cheeks where they just end up doing like fish face.
I just want to use fate to push Viper's hand and make it harder.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll my strength for this.
Yeah, strength. +1, because you're getting advantage from Cass.
Right. 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, so that's 2 successes. Viper, you walk up to Dani, crossing over this crack in the middle, and wind up to slap with a big fucking wind up. You see Dani kind of clocks this as you kind of telegraph it. Cass, you see Fate standing behind Dani. You see it push its fingers on the scale for Viper. Fate pushes down one side of the scale, and all of a sudden you see a force push it back up.
Huh.
As Dani reaches down, grabs one of the buttons on his coat, he grabs it, rips it off, and blows it. It vanishes in front of you. As you see, he has only 2 of these buttons remaining, and time stops. Viper's hand inches from his face, all of you frozen in place. Listen, we've had enough of the slapping. I think we're good there, all right? I've taken legitimate amounts of damage from this. I think I've made my point clear. I'd love to compromise and come back here all the time, but that's not how this world works. This is a take it or leave it type thing. It's too unstable to go in and out. This needs a commitment. It's in or it's out. And I know where I stand. I would love to be able to go back to the real world, but there is nothing for me there.
There's us.
You're a best-selling author and you have a wife.
Yeah. I think you just need some, like, talk therapy and SSRIs or something.
Yeah,
You
that
seem
really...
sad.
Yeah.
I was sad. I was so sad out there. Everything I tried, nothing was good enough. I found my golden age, and I want to be there all the time. And I can do that here. I haven't been sad for a second here. I'll be honest, the slap got me close because it hurt, but that was pain, not necessarily sadness. It was still fun. It was still exciting, and this is...
We have been sad. We thought we were gonna have to kill our pet.
No, you know I would... I'm not gonna be a dick. Alternate win conditions.
You're kind of being a dick, though.
Yeah, you've been a dick this entire time.
Huge dick. Not in a good way.
What's the good way?
Brett can tell you later.
Okay.
It was like a,
Yeah, ask Brett.
it was like a dirty joke. It was like a little sort of blue humor.
Bloomer.
Can everyone do me a favor? Can everyone roll a wisdom check, kind of as a perception check?
Wisdom check.
I got a 4 and a 5.
Oh, yeah.
I got a 6 and a 5.
Got 2 6s.
Jesus.
I got 3 4s and a 5.
And Kelly with an I? Kelly with a Y right now.
3, 4, 5.
I think Cass and Ingrid, and I guess Viper, you got a 6 and a 5?
I got a 4 and a 5.
I got a 6 and a 5.
Okay, Jayamal, as well as Ingrid and Cass, you guys both spot this as Dani looking at you guys, his face kind of sinking a little bit as he's kind of realizing that this definitely wasn't the reaction he was expecting. He was maybe expecting to have to convince you guys of something, but not of it not working. His face kind of sinks, and you see his eyes kind of well up a little bit, kind of realizing he's on the back foot. I think you guys see 2 things. One, you see it's very unlikely to be able to convince this broken person who's found their perfect time to leave it to something worse. You see that, and I think for each of you that maybe breaks your heart in some way or another. But then you notice a glint in his eye, kind of behind the tears, as I think Ingrid especially, as he blinks, you see his eye kind of go clear for a moment. Just that half split second of a moment as his eye begins to open up again. And rather than seeing his light blue eyes and his dark irises and his dark pupils, you instead see the triangular face of a 20-sided die. It pulses for a moment, and then his eye appears back over it. He blinks again and goes, "You can't leave. You can't leave. This world has to stay here. This world has to exist." And you see his eye kind of flashes again, and that D20 pulses in his eye brighter and brighter, his part of his face kind of glowing with this energy. And he kind of pulls it back, trying to hide it by like brushing his eye off. You can't leave. Let's play a little bit longer. Let's see if, anything changes. Let's see. I can make it. I can make it better. I can make it exactly what you want. And as he says that, the world rumbles again, and the crack between him and you gets wider and wider. Now it's like 2 or 3 feet wide. listen, just let's play a little bit longer, and then hands together. The game continues. Let's play. Everyone, put your hands together. And he snaps his fingers. The world returns back to its normal speed, and he stretches out his hands towards you guys, pleading with his eyes for you to reach out and take his hands. What do you guys do?
I silently step back away from Dani. Just increase that distance between us.
I'll step back with Enoch.
I mean, come on. Enoch. Anna, come on.
Dani, just give us could you just a hot 2 and just go over there for a second and maybe you seem kind of like you can hear everything in the world, but maybe don't listen.
You want to do an aside? You want to do an aside right now?
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the. Okay, yeah.
Dani?
Okay, do an aside. Yeah, sure. Okay,
The
no notes.
acoustics are
No
excellent
notes.
in here.
The acoustics are so good. So
Established.
maybe plug your ears and sing Landslide or something.
Not landslide. Listen.
I love it when you sing Landslide.
No.
Yeah. Come on, you did it for the talent show.
Yeah.
That was
I know, and
hilarious.
people were singing it at me for
The
the
acoustic
entirety of high
guitar,
school.
it was stunning.
It was a real bummer. Honestly, side note, one of the worst performances I've ever heard in a middle school talent show was someone singing Landslide, and I hate that song ever since.
I did not know that. That makes this extra funny.
Oh my god.
He kind of backs up and starts humming Landslide very reluctantly.
Can't think of a different song.
You hear he tries. He tries to play a little Pink Floyd, and then he's like, shit in a landslide.
Once it's in there, you just can't get it out. So Kelly kind of gathers everyone, and she's like, okay, guys. Dani's gone off the rails.
Yeah.
But I'm really concerned about him, and I do think that maybe if we stick around for just play for a tiny bit longer, and if it gives us more time to convince him that we've had our fill, that things are going to be back, they're going to be okay in the real world. We'll be there for him. We'll be there for all of each other back in the real world, and we can try to revisit the original compromise of we can come back here. We can keep playing. It's okay, but I'm worried that if we leave him now, that's it. He's gone. And I know we've lost touch, but I don't think I'm ready for any of you to be gone.
I'm not convinced that if we do the hold hands, say the game continues, it sounds like that's it. We don't get another chance to leave.
Yeah, that is what he said. We never have to leave. It's not an in and out thing. This is it. And I don't want that. Honestly, I want to go back home and see my kids. I want to talk to my brother, honestly.
I think I know what we have to do.
What?
And it's what we've always done. When we don't agree on something, we gotta squash it in the game.
Squash it in the game.
We gotta squash it in the game, which I think means we have to kill Dani in the game?
I think.
We don't die. This isn't like a die in the game, die in real life thing.
No, it's a game.
I don't know.
The pain is real.
Very real.
Maybe we've got to convince Dani that this isn't what he wants. We've got to change his mind.
I don't think there is any changing his mind. The look in his eye.
You do have mind powers. Seems like you got some mind powers.
Yes, I'd rather not use those again if I can avoid it.
You too, you've got Kelly and Enoch, you've got to make him trust you that we know the right decision and we need to leave.
I look to Kelly.
Oh, man. I think Kelly's trying really, really hard to figure out. It's like an impossible puzzle of how does she take care of everybody in this moment when there's a lot of conflicting, and it's very much like there's no gray area. All right, cool. Yes, Kelly's panicking. which also makes it hard for. It's funny because it's as a player, I'm like, oh, when we leveled up, I took a venting ability that lets me learn what you trust most and potentially use it against you, which is crazy. And I want so badly to do that to Dani right now, but my emotional scale's back at 0 because I had to flip a mountain around. You know how it goes.
That'll happen.
I don't know how to realistically, within the like bounds of the story, be like, yeah, all of a sudden she chills out and she trusts everyone again. It's like, we'll figure it out.
Quick, do a trust fall. You can simulate it.
Wait, Kelly, turn around.
Falling for today, maybe.
On Wingus and jump off and we'll catch you.
Jayamal goes,
Okay, I know we're all very mad at Dani, and he sucks, and he's stupid, and a little bit ugly, but he's our friend. Remember? Like, you know he's a big dick, but we're friends. We're all friends here. Like, remember that time in high school when Cass's grandma died, and it was right before finals, and we couldn't tell him that his grandma died? What did Dani do? He pretended to be his grandma for a week. So Cass would be upset. Right? And remember that time I accidentally smoked weed right before the big game and there was a drug test? What did Dani do for me?
That wasn't my grandma? That was you guys?
Yes, that was us. I thought you knew.
Wait.
That was, and then Enoch and I studied for the finals that you were going to have to take just in case we had to take them for you.
Yes, we had a backup plan.
We had a backup plan because we just I didn't think it was going to work, but then it did.
Right?
We
Shocking.
haven't always been an honest group of friends, but we have always been there for each other.
It's true. So we have kind of all similar to, I mean, it's different because it's like world ending, but we have definitely lied to each other for the sake of friendship.
Did my parents tell you that my grandma died and not me?
Yeah, we ran into them because we were going to pick you up at your house. In Jayamal's car. And then they told us, but your grades were struggling so much that semester that they really asked us to help you out. And we'd read all the letters that your grandma had written, so we knew her voice, so we wrote you letters for that week.
So we just gaslit you for a week, but it was just a week.
And you did really good on that final.
Yeah, you made those cookies? Wow. Okay. Wow.
Wild choices, guys.
Wow.
I think this is
less wild than the Village of Children.
I think this is. I roleplayed in a lot of games. I have no idea how to respond. Just go along with. Oh my God.
I mean, I guess, I only ever communicated with my grandma through letters.
A purely epistolary relationship.
It was her hearing wasn't that great at the end.
Yeah,
which is
her
why it was
hearing
all
wasn't that
written
great.
word.
Yeah.
But she could. Yeah, you matched her penmanship perfect. Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Dani's been there for all of us in very similar circumstances.
That was Dani's idea?
Very similar. It was Dani's
honestly,
idea.
Okay.
Jayamal, I think you bringing that up honestly highlighted how bad of an influence Dani has been on us. I'd forgotten about that. I remember it now, and I feel an intense guilt. I'm so sorry, Cass.
It's like he means well, but he can't operate outside of some form of deception. I get like he's incapable of being honest, and he surrounds himself with people who just support his decisions unquestioningly, and he doesn't know how to deal with people telling him no. But yeah, I mean, the results, I did better on those exams than I'd done at any other point in my scholastic career, so I just don't know what to think anymore.
In a landslide.
We can't stay here forever.
No.
Listen, I feel great in this body, but I can't. Honestly, I'm really thinking about Enoch's kids. I can't deprive a family of their father. I know he's not around for them a lot, but still losing a second income is a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's
for
just
a family.
like if it was just up to me, I would stay, but I would never force that on you all.
I appreciate it. I can try to use my voice on Dani, but I mean, he can literally freeze time, space. I don't know. I don't know how useful that will be. So we might need a backup plan.
We've got to try to change his mind and let him let us leave.
That's why I thought maybe if we play along for just like another hour,
But he wants us to
then we can
do
try
that
to-
ritual before we play along, and that ritual is the sealing deal. We can't leave after that.
I keep forgetting about that part.
I think
Dani turns around and goes, sorry, just real quick, I've done 3 refrains of Landslide. Are we...
just one more. Just one more refrain. Just one more refrain.
If you could do some I Love Rock and Roll instead.
Oh, hell, Joan Jett was my first concert.
No, specifically the Britney Spears version.
You sick fuck. Listen, if it'll help, I could show you what I've got planned next. I mean, it's still a rough sketch, but I could at least give you a little preview of where we're going. Maybe that'll help, decide. I don't think we have that much time to make the decision. As this crack gets even wider, and you see bits of the cave begin to as you feel an earthquake heard round the world, as this entire world is shaking at its core. Okay, yeah, point highlighted. I don't think we have a lot of time, but I can at least show you what I was thinking next. Give you a little sneak preview.
As long as it gets us out of this cave.
Oh yeah, you guys are gonna love this. And he looks at you guys, pulls off the second to last button on his coat. It kind of looks like an arcade token or an old subway token with a hole in the middle. Flicks it up in the air, and as it flicks, ping, it vanishes. As you guys watch the coin fly up, you see it vanish, and as it does, the cave around you disappears. And you guys find yourself flying in the air through the clouds, being buffeted by the wind. You see next to you, Wingus and Big Bingus are flying as well. Both of them flapping their wings, but kind of being transported without their own effort. They're having a grand old time. They know how to move through the air. You guys, less so for sure. And you guys see approaching through the clouds, as you pass through one of the clouds, you see a very small hamlet just outside of this small tuft of woods. This one little cottage with smoke billowing up. And in the backyard of that village, you see a massive green plant stretching up and up and up and up into the clouds. You see this beanstalk from behind this small village, this small hamlet, this small cottage, stretching into the clouds, and you fly up, cresting over top of the clouds, these large cumulonimbus, fluffy white monstrosities. And sitting atop one of these clouds, you see a sprawling city. Or rather, you see what will be a sprawling city. Viper, just like the charm that you saw that seemed like half completed and half still in pencil, you see almost like a living blueprint of a city. You see buildings and fountains and things, some of them filled in color and moving. You see like a bubbling fountain where half of it is water and the other half is just sketches of charcoal and pencil and pen. This entire city seems to be standing as just lines and things. Some buildings shaded in, some buildings colored, some just 4 lines pointing in the air with a roof. You are set down kind of quietly in the middle of this small square in the center of this vast city. And you see over top this fountain is a large archway that says, "Welcome to Halcyon City." You guys land with small little plunk, and Dani kind of opens up his arms, spins around, and goes, I mean, come on. I mean, you got to use your head a little, you got to, use your imagination a little bit, but look at how cool this place is. And there's like a thieves guild, there's this whole like underground network, but the underground network is still in the clouds. Like, how fucking cool is that? And then like,
it is so fucking cool. I'm so mad at how cool this is.
And then he looks at Kelly and goes, and Kelly, I figured it would be only appropriate, like a little homage. This is the beanstalk after all. And he turns, and you see in this square, the only thing rendered in full life and color is a perfect replica, maybe just a little bit more fantasy, old-timey, of the Beanstalk Cafe. You see two like crudely drawn people inside that are kind of moving around like NPC-like, just kind of like bopping into walls, like they haven't been completed yet. And you see rough facsimiles of your parents bopping around going, hey Bob, hey Bob, hey, what can I get you? What can I get you? What can I get you? Come on, let me show you one more thing, okay? If you don't like it, fine, okay?
Dani, this looks really cool. I would love to come back and play, but they're right. We have to go back, and you have to come with us. It's all or nothing.
Let me just show you this one last thing, and if you still feel the same way, we'll go.
You'll come with us?
Yeah.
Do you promise, Dani?
Everyone roll a perception check, a wisdom check.
A 5 and a 6.
Ooh, I got 2 6s and a 1.
I got a 6 and a 1.
I got a 5 and a 6.
I got a 6, a 3, and 2 2s.
Damn, look at us.
I got a 3 and a 5.
Oh.
I was honestly really hoping that you were like, I got a 1 and a 2.
Same. I kind of wanted a 1 and a 2. I really wanted to fail that one.
I think probably everyone but Jayamal kind of catches this as he looks up and looks at Kelly. You ask if he promises, and he looks up at you, his face kind of growing slack, and you see his lips move to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see his eye kind of go clear again, a pulse come from that D20 lodged in his eye socket, and you see his mouth twist and contort in this unnatural way, and goes, yeah, I promise. And you see a bold-faced lie on his face.
Oh, God.
I believe him.
He's gone dragon mad. He's possessed.
Dragon.
I think you all see at this moment your friend coming through, and then just like Dingus with the collar around his neck, getting pulled into something else. You see a very broken and confused person being forced into something they maybe don't want. He looks at you guys.
Wait, with 2 6s?
Yeah.
Can I tell if what is, like, I want to basically identify the collar. Is it that last button? Is it the D20? Is it something else? Can I tell?
With 2 6s, you see the buttons on his suit, on his jacket. When you guys first appeared here, whereas you guys had your dice, he also had 5 tokens that appeared. And he's been using these tokens kind of throughout the game to disappear, to stop time, to various things. You see only the one remaining. You think this is some source of power for him in the same way that you have your axes, in the same way that Enoch has his voice. This is his core power of the game, these cheat tokens. You believe these are a mechanism by which he can exert his influence, but not something that's controlling him.
Got it.
The dye in his eye, you see pulsing in a protective way, in a way of, this thing wants to stay, this thing is unstable, this thing wants you all to stay. Or short of that, to no longer be a problem. The source of this is definitely coming from the eye.
We gotta get his eye.
As you guys clock this deception on him, I'm going to roll a little check for him as well. Yeah. He looks at you guys, clocks that you guys have clocked this deception, like counterspelling your counterspell. He looks at you and begins to go, listen, just come check this out real quick, okay? Come on, real quick. And he runs as fast as he can towards the Beanstalk Cafe, and opens the door and starts to run downstairs to where you know the cellar is.
Ooh.
It's too creepy. We have to follow.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Having this like glimmer of hope. Yeah, Kelly sprints after him.
You guys sprint after him. You run past these weird scratch etching facsimiles of your parents. Kind of, you hear within your axes, your mom and dad going, honey, you can do it. And then you see your mom like backing into a wall, kind of like glitching, going, hello, how can I help you? Hello, how can I help you? You guys run downstairs and you see, whereas the inside of the Beanstalk had been preserved, but also kind of like made to fit with the kind of fantastical surroundings, the basement is completely unchanged. Save for, as you guys head down the stairs, you see that same table, Dani sitting in his same seat, back to you guys. Always the showman. But where there are 5 chairs around the table, these chairs are not empty. You see pitch black bodies sitting there. Ooh. You see yourselves echoed in these facsimiles that seem to be made purely of ink and graphite, this deep darkness that is just sitting in your spaces. As you kind of glance at them, you see these are you, like the paragons that you see, but also portions of your faces, like your real world faces are in there as well, maybe even more so. But you see that all of them, as idealized as you see yourselves here, these are even more so. You see aspects of your features that are enhanced or detracted. You see bits of your kind of movements that are better or worse. I want to ask each of you, what is it that you see in these facsimiles that are around this table, like almost literally being put up on pedestals, that is better than what you are, and what is lacking? Essentially, like, what does Dani see in these things? What is he seeing in you guys that he's enhancing, that he's idealizing? And what is it that he's just not seeing?
I think for Anna, this facsimile of her looks very like upright and very brave and strong. And she has that in her, but there's no hint of like warmth to her eyes or like humor. And he's missing that. He only sees like the tough parts of her.
Mm-hmm. Jayamal, what do you see?
I think in Jayamal's facsimile, Dani sees this, like, I don't know how it specifically comes out, but like this desire to be, for that pressure to be taken off of, like, yeah, like Jayamal wants to be able to not like just do what he wants to do, but doesn't see like Jayamal's like in like pleasure or appreciation for being able to be counted on and like relied upon by the loved ones in his life.
Ned, what do you see as you look at Dani's version of an idealized you?
I see this figure just surrounded by the game books, so many dice, just like confidently playing this game. The one thing that that Ned has confidence in is his ability to play games. And so this one is, doing a little cosplay as well as the character, and just holding so many dice. They've done so many min-maxy things that they're rolling a million dice when it's their turn, and they're doing so many things, incredible action economy, all that stuff. Yeah, just this confidence, this focus, but it's like the other ones, it's missing the fun that Dani sees Ned as this great person to have at the table because they make good moves, because they make the combat interesting and the encounters more dynamic, but Ned's there to have fun, and that's the main reason why he likes to play. He likes to be helpful to his friends, and this is a way he gets to do it. But if he wasn't playing with his friends, I don't know if he'd bother. And so that light and joy that Ned gets from gaming is missing. It's absent.
Enoch, what is it that Dani is idolizing, and what is it that he's not seeing in you?
I think what he's idolizing in Enoch is there is a light or glint in this version of Enoch's eyes, but it's not joy or pleasure or anything like that. It's just a very almost stereotypical kind of look of everything is interesting. It's very much like the classic brainiac who finds everything interesting because they're for some reason breaking down what it is built of chemically in their head or something like that. They're just constantly looking at things in an intellectual way to the point that it's kind of pointless. And while Enoch is very intellectual, very like his grades were really good, I think Dani, for some reason, sees the point of almost just to the extreme, kind of almost dialed it to 11, and that's it. I don't think they really see anything else in Enoch. They see Enoch as someone who's very good at what they do, and that's about it. There's no real human behind it. It's almost like looking at a computer or an AI that is built for a purpose, and that's it. Yeah, and I think this kind of disgusts Enoch even more, but it's still following the lead of his friends in whatever they plan to do next.
And Kelly, what is it that you see that Dani has reduced you down to?
Kelly takes a look at everybody else's and kind of identifies and sees what this is of. It's this sort of shell shadow version of what Dani kind of, this idolized version, or like the memory of like a friend where they become kind of whatever the one thing is that you remember them as. And so when she looks over at hers, kind of knows what she's going to see, and it is there, which is that she's got the backpack that's got, the first aid kit. She has extra dice with her. She's got snacks. It's an illusion and an aura of sort of like confidence of, I know what's going on and I'm prepared for all the things. And it looks again like a sort of, not necessarily easygoing confidence, but an assurance in herself and confidence. And what is missing is what she always tried to hide from her friends, and what she sees truly worked out in at least Dani's mind of the anxiety and the worry and the constant sort of running through in her brain of worst case scenario, or, okay, if this happens, then what does that happen? And what does this mean? And what does that mean? And that is missing from it. And ironically, that combined with that flash of knowing that Dani would have promised to leave, but that he couldn't, and knowing that, like, yeah, this is how Dani always would have seen me, fills her with the trust of knowing that her friend is really there, and he is underneath all of that, and that she's taken care of him before, and she can do it again. My emotional scale is going to go up by 1.
Nice.
And I'm going to immediately use my venting ability to learn what it is that Dani, or this version of Dani, trusts most.
You look forward and you see this almost like sculpture in front of you, these statues sitting around the table. You look up and you see that the lighting in here is just that little bit better than in your, I mean, the basement is terribly lit, and this seems to have almost a museum-like quality to it, a place of reverence, a place to be revisited and observed, but from a distance. You use that venting ability, looking at Dani's back, and as you vent that out, you expect to see something. You expect to feel something, to see some kind of pulse of what he is most trusting of, but you feel nothing.
Oh, fuck.
And it's then that you see the back of his neck, mostly colored, but partially in pencil.
This isn't Dani.
You see the statues begin to animate and stand up with Dani's head spinning around on its axis, his body not turning, and you see half of his face complete, half of it still etched in pencil. This simply an automaton of your quarry. They stand up, moving towards you. You hear a voice overhead, projected from somewhere, someplace. You hear Dani say, "Listen, I'd much rather play with you guys, but I have to stay. You don't understand. I have to stay. So if I have to play with these guys, I'm fine to do that as well. Last chance." This season of My First Dungeon is produced by Brian Flaherty and Elliot Davis. Editing and sound design by Brian Flaherty. Original theme song and character themes by Behold. This episode features the voice talents of Drakoniques as Enoch, Carolyn Page as Anna, Abby Hepworth as Kelly, Shenuque Tissera as Jayamal, Nathan Yaffe as Ned, and Brian Flaherty as Dani and everyone else. Die, the role-playing game, was created by Kieron Gillen and Stephanie Hans and published by Rowan, Rook, and Decard. You can find My First Dungeon online at My First Dungeon on Twitter. And if you like the show, the very best thing you can do is open up your podcast player right now, click follow, and leave us a review. And if you want to play Die yourself, the core rulebook is now available at rowanrookanddeckard.com or at your friendly neighborhood gaming store. That's all for this episode. And as always, remember, if you're having fun, you're already doing it right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey all, it's Brian. Real quick before you go,
If you like this show and you want to support more great seasons, you should head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and jump into the Dice Pool. That's the name of our one and only Patreon tier that's just $5, where you'll get additional actual plays and extended talkbacks each and every month. We'll see you there. Splash.
You like us. You really like us. At least, I assume that you do, as you've listened to every minute of this episode. And yet you haven't already left us a 5-star review? Oh, well, what are you waiting for? Get over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave that review now. It's always wonderful to hear words from our adoring fans. Getting more ratings helps people find the show and love it as well. And we love to hear your nice words. So head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and leave us that 5-star review. Ta-ta!